What's up, everybody? My name is Dana Harris with Young Gurus Math Tutoring, and I'm back again to drop some more math jewels. In this video, I want to show you how to factor polynomials with the leading coefficient greater than 1. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I found a trick that I like, and I've been saying for years that there's no trick to factoring polynomials. But I found one that I actually like, so let's go ahead and get right into the examples. Now, factoring polynomials can be an interesting subject. A lot of people really despise factoring, but factoring with the leading coefficient of 1, see the video in this playlist, is rather simple because you only have to know the factors of one number. And then you know the placement of the signs, and it becomes very simple. But when you have something like this, 2z squared minus 21z minus 36. When this leading coefficient is greater than 1, then it becomes a matter of guess and check, so I thought for several years. But I'm going to show you the big X, or I like to just say the super X method. Okay, so the super X method is going to be real cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw this X. All right. And in this X, we're going to put some numbers. So the first thing we're going to do, in the top of the X, we're going to multiply A. Now, when I say A, remember, when you have a polynomial, it's in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So it looks like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? So we're going to multiply A times C. So 2 times negative 36, and I'll actually put it up here. That gives you negative 72. In the bottom of the X, we're going to put our B term. That's negative 21. All right, so now we have to find two factors that we can multiply to get negative 72, and we can add them together to get negative 21. Now, if you want to, you can write down the factors of 72. Actually, we can do that here too. 1 times 72, 2 times 36, 3 times 24. There's a few more, but I can actually see right here. 3 and 24 are going to be the factors that we're going to use. Now, notice, because this is negative, the signs have to be plus and minus, or positive and negative. So, if I actually take 3 and 24, I can get 3 and 24, and since it's negative, we have to have negative 24. Okay, so after we do that, we need to divide both of these terms by this leading coefficient of 2. So we divide that by 2, divide that by 2. Now I'm going to do another X because I want to simplify all this. So I have my negative 72, I have my negative 21, and then over here I have 3, or tree as I like to say, over 2. And then negative 24 over 2 is actually negative 12, but I'm going to write it as a fraction for the sake of this problem or this example. Now, once we do that, actually, we're going to write out our factors, believe it or not. Okay, so when I look at this first number, the denominator is going to be my coefficient of x. So 2x, and then this numerator is going to be plus 3. It's positive because they're both positive. The denominator here is going to be my leading coefficient of x. So I'm going to have x, and then this is negative, so minus 12. So my factored version of this, and I just realized I used x's down here instead of z's. It's all good. Pretend it's a z. All right? That lets you know my videos aren't scripted. Everything is fresh. All right, so now, and you can actually multiply this back together to prove that it multiplies to get our original polynomial. 2x times x gives me 2x squared, and I'll write it down here, 2x squared. If we multiply the outside, 2x times negative 12 is negative 24x. The inside plus 3x, or tree x as I like to say, and then minus 36. So if I combine these two middle terms, negative 24 plus tree is negative 21. So this method is a little different. You may have seen it before, you may not have, but I'm going to do a couple more examples. You know I'm going to keep bringing them. All right? So, and I thought this method was real cool. Like, I've been teaching this for years, and I never really came across a method that I liked. You know, I would sit in class and guess and check and guess and check and things like that. And I never came across a method that I really liked, but I really like this method. So, example 2. I have 4m squared minus 27m and then minus 40. Okay, same thing again. We're going to draw the first x. Remember, in the top of the x, we need to multiply a times c. So I have 4 times negative 40, which gives me negative 160. Okay, in the bottom x, I want to put my b term, negative 27. So I need to figure out what numbers can I multiply to get negative 160, and I add them together to get negative 27. In this case, I actually can multiply negative 5 times 32. Okay, so negative 5 times 32. And actually, that's wrong. I actually should put negative 32. Okay, 5 times 30 is 150. 2 times 5 is 10. So that's 160. Okay, so 5 times negative 32, because actually when I do 5 plus negative 32, I'll get negative 27. Okay, now we need to actually divide the 5 and the negative 32 by that leading coefficient a. So I want to say divided by 4, divided by 4. I'm going to draw another x. Okay, and I'll put my numbers in there again. I have 5 over 4. I draw the second x because you really want to simplify these numbers because they can be some weird numbers at times. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Okay, and remember we want to make it as a fraction, keep our negative 27. Okay, now let's write our factors out. We get our parentheses. First, we start with the denominators. Remember, the denominators of the fraction, that's my coefficient of m. I'm going to put the right variable this time, plus 5. And then over here, I'm going to say m minus 8, the denominator, leading coefficient, and then the numerator. Okay, now let's check it just to make sure. If we multiply back out, 4m times m gives me 4m squared. So this is my answer, but I'm just showing the multiplied version just so you can see that it actually works out. So 4m times m gives me 4m squared. 4m times negative 8, excuse me, 4m times negative 8 is negative 32m plus 5m, and then 5 times negative 8 gives me negative 40. If I combine these two middle terms, it'll give me negative 27. So the super X, or big X method as I call it, I really want to just give it my own name because I feel like it's just the coolest thing in the world since I found this method that I actually like. Okay, just so you know it's going to sink in, I'm going to give you one more example. One more example. Like, I was real hyped when I found this method because I've been looking for a method to teach this for so long, but I guess I wasn't looking hard enough or whatnot. But you know what? Better late than never. So, this makes life so much easier because, man, I've sat in classrooms at times and I've tried this guess and check method for just, I don't know, just forever it seemed like. All right, let's do another one. Let's say example 3. Let's do this one. Let's say we have 2w squared minus 11w plus 12. Okay, and I'll do a fourth example as well because I want you to see the different types of examples. Same thing. A times C is 2 times 12, which is 24. We have B is negative 11. Since this is positive, and this is negative, we need two negative signs, okay? So I have negative 3 times negative 8. And that's why I want to show you 4 different examples, because remember, you still have to place the factors properly in order for the signs to do right. So if this C is positive, then your signs are going to be the same. If C is negative, your signs are going to be different. In this case, C is positive, but B is negative, so I have to have 2 negatives here. Okay. Remember, we have to divide these by our leading coefficient, A. Let's draw our next X. We have 24. We have negative 3 over 2. Negative 8 over 2 is negative 4. So I have negative 4 over 1. And I have my negative 11 in the bottom. All right. Now we can write out our factors. Okay. Remember, denominator is the leading coefficient. 2w minus 3. We have w minus 4. And that's our factors. 2w times w is 2w squared. Negative 8w, negative 3w. We add those together, we get negative 11w. And then negative 3 times negative 4 gives you positive 12. All right. One last example I want to give you, and we will wrap this one up. I hope this is giving you all some value. Shout out to, I can't remember your name, but there was a new someone on Instagram the other day, a young lady personally left a comment under one of my posts from last week, and she said that she wanted me to do a polynomials video, and I was thinking perfect timing because I have been wanting to do this for the longest, but I wanted to wait until I had a good trick to show you all. And I'm not really big on the math tricks, because at times I feel like a lot of kids have been shown the trick in elementary school and they don't really get the why behind it. So when I find different arithmetic tricks, I like to make sure kids have the why behind it. So this one, same thing. Let's do the big X. Let's see, 3 times negative 14 equals 42. Yeah, negative 42. All right, I had to stumble for a second. 1 in the middle, and let's see, on the outside. So I need some numbers. Let me see. 6 times 7 is 42. So remember, this is different signs because this one is negative. So 6, 7. It's a positive. Here in the middle, B is positive. So I need my negative next to, I need my negative next to the 6 so that I can get a positive one. All right. Still divide by the leading coefficient A. And then we draw our new X. Boom. Negative 42. 1. Negative 6 over 3 is negative 2. So negative 2 over 1. 7 over 3. Let's write out our factors. Leading coefficient is the denominator. So in this case, Q minus 2 over here. 3q plus 7. If you're wondering why I keep saying tree, watch my video called The Number Tree. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so q times 3q is 3q squared. Q times 7 is 7q. Negative 2 times 3q is negative 6q. So 7q minus 6q is 1q. And then negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video added some value. Please like, share, subscribe this one. People hate factoring. And this is the video that's going to set you free from factoring, okay? Once you see this, share it with anybody that you can think of. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, Young Gurus Math Tutoring. I got the solution to your math problems.